What up, Space Fam? Goes in here from AnimeUproar, and I'm back at it again to not only discuss the latest crazy Attack on Titan episode, but the last one we'll get in a while. And we'll talk about the future of the anime as well, and what's actually happening with the so-called final season, so make sure to stay tuned for that. If you do enjoy seeing these Attack on Titan videos on the channel and want to keep them coming, then the best thing you could do is Warhammer, smash that like button to let me know. If you haven't, be sure to subscribe, and this is crucial. Hit that notification bell and select all, or you will miss future Attack on Titan videos. And while you wait for the next video to come out, feel free to check out my growing Attack on Titan playlist, which includes videos about all Titan shifters, all acronyms, and much more. Link to that is in the description. Before we get into it, a big thank you to ExpressVPN for sponsoring this video. One of the things that annoys me the most is paying full price for a streaming service, but then not having access to a lot of the content on that service just because I live in the wrong country. Since I am in Canada, I often find that the streaming services I pay for don't have the same content as they do in other countries. If you pay full price for a streaming service, you deserve access to all of its content, and that's where ExpressVPN comes in. ExpressVPN allows you to access literally thousands of shows and movies from all over the world by changing your IP address, and that also makes it more difficult for third parties to track you or mine your data. So for example, the anime Samurai Champloo is not available on Netflix Canada, but is available on Netflix UK. With ExpressVPN, I can gain access to Samurai Champloo on Netflix in just a few seconds. Just download the app on your phone or computer, tap one button, and you're good to go. Protect yourself today and gain access to the content you paid for with ExpressVPN. Go to expressvpn.com/AnimeUproar to get 3 extra months for free. This is a limited time offer, so visit expressvpn.com/AnimeUproar right now. Now, without further ado, let's jump into it. So this episode's called Above and Below, and that title will make more sense near the end of the episode, and we'll get to that. We start out where we left off after Zeke's explosion. As I said in the last review, it totally looked like this explosion could have finished off Zeke and Levi. We don't see Levi here, so anime-onlys can place their bets about what happened to him in the comments. But Zeke, we do see, and he's actually clinging a bit to life, even as most of his body has been blown off. It's pretty crazy. He does see an image of a girl, which anime-onlys can speculate about, but the significant thing is a Titan does take Zeke inside its body. Weird, yes, but definitely significant. Notably, it didn't eat him, but rather seems to have helped him out. Perhaps he can heal easier in there, where perhaps some of the Titan flesh can help his own body recover. Either way, because of this, you can't count Zeke out yet, even though almost anyone else would have been dead after that explosion. Again, as I mentioned before, attaching a Thunder Spear to Zeke was not Levi's best idea. We then jump to Pieck and Yelena sitting at the same table, but this time the roles are reversed. Yelena is definitely too crazy about Zeke, there's no doubt about that, but she's also a really interesting character to watch, and here the tables have turned, and Yelena is the one in the position of power rather than Pieck. And she's not treating him that bad like Flock treated Shottis, so she gets points for that too. Pieck didn't trust Zeke and wanted to kill him, and Zeke in turn made sure the high-ranking officials consumed his Titan serum, so he could change them with the Scream if need be, or use them as living hostages. Clearly, no one here is a saint, and they were clearly both right not to trust each other. And the spinal fluid plan worked out really well, because now Pieck pretty much told his men not to go against the Jaegerists because they can potentially be turned at any moment. Not only that, his own comrades started pointing guns at him too, so he really didn't have much of a choice. And it's interesting hearing the reasons why people turned against him. In one case, a man and his son consumed the spinal fluid, so he's doing all that to save their lives. You can't really blame him. Just like the Marleyans do with families, the Jaegerists have pretty much taken his son's life hostage. Another Marleyan parallel is the armbands. Now people are wearing different colored bands to help identify them. White are early Jaegerists who get the advantages of switching sides sooner. The red are those who drank the blood and are now working for them, and it seems like the black bands are for people who drink the wine and don't know what's going on, and their side is probably unclear. It seems obvious that the methods the Jaegerists are using are definitely similar to the Marleyan methods, but do you think the same methods can be more or less justified depending on what the end goal is? Is freeing the world of the Titan curse more admirable than doing these things to try to maintain Marleyan supremacy? Let me know what you think in the comments. I absolutely love tackling the philosophical questions that Attack on Titan poses. For Yelena, it's all justified because they're saving the world. She knows the true plan rather than the one Pixis had in mind, which was to use the rumbling to keep the world at bay for 50 years while technology expands quickly enough for them to be able to defend themselves without relying on Titans. We then jump to another prison cell, and this time Connie, Jean, Armin, and Mikasa are the ones in jail rather than Eren. P.S. Niccolo is there too. Connie is known as being pretty dense, and he's also known for being one of the first to assume the worst about Eren. Here he again says that they know Eren is a total piece of crap, so it's not surprising to him that he would hurt the two people who care the most about him. But Jean, I think, is onto something when he says, and I quote, "If Eren was sane, he wouldn't do it without good reason," end quote. And this is the intelligent thing to conclude, especially given everything we know about Eren and his previous behavior. Even if he did hate Mikasa and Armin, it wouldn't serve his purposes to meet them just to tell them that. Rather, it seems more like the time Niccolo dissed Jean for being Eldian in order to save him from Zeke's spinal fluid. In my view, it wouldn't make sense if Eren's speech to Armin and Mikasa were his true and honest thoughts, and I'm glad Jean seems to have caught on to that as well. Another part which was interesting and kind of hilarious to me was the guy who kept calling out Niccolo for having the hots for devil spawn who reeked of potatoes. Let me know if I'm the only one who thought it was funny when Yelena just blew his brains out. She pretty much did what everyone else wanted to do there and then said, "There is no need for those who call you devils on this island." Yeah, Yelena is merciless sometimes, but I like that you can see she does have a strong sense of justice and isn't cruel just for the sake of being cruel. At this point, she tells them about the euthanization plan that Zeke has, assuring them that she doesn't want something hollow like revenge, but to end the cycle of hatred to save Eldia and even Marley. And although I can get behind ending the cycle of hatred, I just can't get behind their means to doing it. I think solving the problem by wiping out the Eldian race, peacefully or not, is ridiculous. However, Armin doesn't seem to think so and seems touched by the plan finally having learned the truth. It's definitely not what he expected. I look forward to learning more about Armin's true thoughts about this plan. Then we have the Eren and Gabby scene, which is quickly interrupted by Pieck showing up and shooting the guard. At this point in the anime, you gotta expect for people to just get shot out of nowhere. Again, I really like how in Attack on Titan, all this important stuff seems to happen in the background of the scene, like when Eren walked into the room while Armin and Mikasa were talking, or here where Pieck just strolls in. It works really well, and I'm glad we don't get to see multiple close-ups of Pieck approaching the room before she comes into it. The element of surprise is great, and I like the way these important moments tend to be understated rather than overemphasized. Long story short, Pieck fakes being on Eren's side to get him to the roof. What is good about Pieck is that she comes up with a convincing argument for why she would be on Eren's side, because he can help free all Eldians in Marley and around the world, including her father. As she points out to Gabby, after Eldians are no longer necessary to Marley because advanced military technology has made Titan powers obsolete, then Marleyans will erase them from existence, so they may as well strike back against Marley before that happens. And we'll get back to Pieck, but I gotta say though, you not only notice how tall Eren is here compared to Pieck, you also notice how much of a badass he is. Like for instance, when Pieck is threatening to shoot him, he just walks into the gun and tells her to shoot, knowing that Marley would want him alive so they can take the power of the founder. This Eren is definitely not nice, but I really appreciate how badass he is. He has to be one of the coolest shonen protagonists hands down. But yeah, when she's trying to trick Eren, Pieck is so convincing, you really aren't that convinced when she turns out to be on Marley's side after all. Why keep fighting for Marley when they take Eldian families hostage and treat them as devils? The only saving grace here is that when talking to Gabby after the reveal, she says that she doesn't trust Marley, but she does trust the comrades she fought alongside of. I don't agree with the euthanization plan, but I also don't agree with the helping Marley plan either. I'm much more related to when Pieck said they needed to secure their right to live with their own hands when she was trying to convince Eren she was on his side. Like, that actually makes a lot of sense when compared to trust the Marleyans plan. Despite the fact that I'm not too convinced by Pieck's rationale, I did think that the part where she was supposed to point out the enemies and she pointed to Eren was pretty epic. Porco's Jaw Titan attacks from below and we see multiple airships from above, which is what the title of the episode must have been referring to. Below and above, Eren is under attack. The war has been brought to them on Paradis again, and before Eren could make contact with Zeke. Eren avoids avoids getting eaten by Porco and transforms, leaving the final battle in Attack on Titan to begin. The one that will decide it all. Who will win and what will Eren do if he does win? It's truly a crazy moment and things are going to be action-packed from here on out. The stage is set for Marley to try and get revenge for what happened against Liberio. Reiner is seen in an airship too. All the warriors have made it here for this final stand against Eren, the man who has turned himself into the enemy of the world and even tried to turn Armin and Mikasa against him too. Can't wait to see Eren's new combined Titan powers using the Warhammer and attack, and eventually perhaps the Founding Titan power after he meets up with Zeke. We've entered the craziest part of Attack on Titan, and yet now we gotta wait, which is kind of weird. So let's get into when the next episode is coming out. This was called Attack on Titan Final Season, and we were expecting 16 episodes and we got them, but we also knew this wouldn't be enough episodes to finish off the story. So some were saying there would be a movie to finish it off, or they'd rush the ending or leave it undone so you have to read the manga, but luckily it turns out we will get more episodes. The only thing is, it looks like we'll be waiting until winter 2022 for part 2 of the final season to drop, which may well include another 16 episodes. The confusing part to me is if both parts include 16 or so episodes and will be a whole year apart, it probably would have made more sense and caused less confusion to call them different seasons. That would have been easier to understand in my view, but hey, not a big deal. I'm just very excited that they won't rush the ending, even if I will have to be more patient than I thought I would have to be to get the rest of the final season. And that is it, my friends. The last episode review for a while, it seems like. Make sure you are subscribed though and have that notification bell on, because the final chapter of the manga will come out any day now, so you won't want to miss that. The official ending of Attack on Titan is so insanely close. If you did enjoy this video and want to keep the Attack on Titan videos coming, the best thing you could do is Warhammer smash that like button until it's blue, and while you wait for the next video to drop, feel free to check out my growing Attack on Titan playlist, which includes videos about all Titan shifters, the Ackermans, and much more. Link to that is in the description, and until next time, see ya, Space Cowboys!